Welcome to EduRev. If you're getting ready for the GMAT, you know that decimals can be a total time sink, right? They pop up all over the place and can really slow you down when every single second counts. Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to flip that script. We're going to turn that weakness into a real strength. I'm going to show you exactly how to tackle any decimal problem with speed, confidence, and precision.
Okay, let's jump right in. So, let me ask you this, and be honest. When you see a problem just packed with decimals, do you feel that little moment of hesitation? As a teacher, I see it all the time. Students get stuck, they double-check everything, and they just burn through precious time. If that sounds anything like you, don't worry. You are in the perfect place. We are going to turn that hesitation into action. First things first, we've got to build a solid foundation. So let's break down what a decimal fraction actually is. You'll see it's way simpler than it sounds, and really, getting this part down is the key to everything else.
So here it is, the big secret. A decimal is just a fancy, shorthand way of writing a fraction. Specifically, a fraction where the bottom number, the denominator, is a power of 10. You know, like 10, 100, 1,000. So think of it like a code. Once you learn to read the code, you've cracked the whole concept. These aren't some new, scary type of number at all.
Let's take a super common example, one you've probably seen a million times, 0.25.
And this shows our point perfectly. See how there are two digits after the decimal point? Well, that's the code telling us the denominator is a 1 with two zeros, which is 100. So, 0.25 is just another way of writing 25 over 100. See? Simple.
Okay, how about one that looks a little trickier, 0.008. The exact same rule applies. No tricks here. We have 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal. So what does that mean? It means our denominator is a 1 with 3 zeros, 1,000. So 0.008 is nothing more than 8 over 1,000. Once you see that pattern, you really can't unsee it.
Okay, so now we get the what, let's lock in the how. I'm going to give you a super simple 3-step method to convert any decimal to a fraction. This is a must-have skill for the GMAT.
Here's the whole process. Step 1, you just take the number and pretend the decimal point isn't even there. That becomes your top number, your numerator. Step 2, for the bottom number, you write a 1 and then you add 1 0 for every single decimal place in the original number. And finally, and this is a big GMAT tip, always simplify the fraction if you can, because you can bet the answer choices will be in the simplest form.
Awesome. So now that we can read them and convert them, let's talk about actually using them, the addition, subtraction, and multiplication you'll have to do on the exam. There are two critical rules you absolutely need to burn into your brain.
Now listen up, because this is where so many people get tripped up on the GMAT. There are two totally different rules here. For adding and subtracting, your number one job, your only job really, is to align the decimal points vertically. Line them up. But for multiplication, you do the opposite. You completely ignore the decimals until the very end. You just multiply the numbers like they're whole numbers, and then you go back and count the total decimal places from your original numbers to figure out where the decimal goes in your answer. Mixing these two rules up is one of the most common mistakes I see, and it's so easy to avoid.
All right, that's enough theory. You know, the best way to learn this stuff is by actually doing it. So let's put these rules into practice with a few GMAT-style problems. You ready? Let's do this.
Okay, first up, a straightforward addition problem. What is 3.257 plus 4.836? Now remember the rule for addition. What's that very first thing you need to do? That's right, get those decimal points lined up.
And there we have it, 8.093. You see, once you align those decimals properly, the rest is just simple addition, column by column. Easy peasy.
Okay, let's try a subtraction one. What is 9.462 minus 3.218? Now, the process here is exactly the same as what we just did with addition. Get those decimal points stacked right on top of each other and you're good to go.
And our result is 6.244. Yep, once again, making sure those decimal points were aligned was the key. It just unlocks the whole problem and makes it simple and accurate.
All right, last one, and it's a multiplication problem. What is 0.003 times 0.4? Okay, now remember, switch gears. This is a different rule. First, just multiply 3 times 4. Then, go back and count up all the decimal places in the original problem.
and you should get 0.0012. Now, why is that? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. And in our problem, 0.003 has 3 decimal places and 0.4 has 1 decimal place. That's a grand total of 4 decimal places that we need in our final answer. So you see, the whole trick is just counting those places correctly to put the decimal in the right spot.
Fantastic work! We've covered what decimals are, how to convert them, and how to work with them. Before we wrap this up, let's do a super fast recap of the most important things you need to remember for test day.
All right, here are the absolute must-knows for your GMAT prep. Number 1, decimals are just fractions in disguise, fractions over a power of 10. Number 2, to convert, the number of decimal places tells you exactly how many zeros you need in your denominator. Easy. Number 3, and this is huge, for addition and subtraction, you align the decimals. And number 4, for multiplication, you count the total decimal places. If you can master these 4 points, you will master GMAT decimals.
You've just built an amazing foundation for handling decimals on the GMAT. Now, the next step is all about practice, turning this knowledge into pure instinct. And for that, I can't recommend the EduRev app enough. You're going to find thousands of GMAT practice questions in there, so you can apply these rules over and over until they become second nature. It's available on both the Play Store and the iOS App Store. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy studying.